Good morning, everyone. This is Devin, aka Nixie DLC. I'm coming at you with some of my more favorite videos to do, and they're reaction videos. Usually I do a lot of War of the Visions content, but this time I'm actually going to react to Cabbage, another War of the Visions content creator. Now, I'm not doing this to make fun of him in any way. In fact, I think he's one of the most knowledgeable people in the War of the Visions community. Essentially, he's playing the JP version, so he's playing the game like 4 or 5 months ahead of us. He's playing the game in the future. So he released this video for Final Fantasy VII Remake predictions and probabilities for like the new units and stuff like that. So I actually want to see what he has to say about it and just see if I agree with him. But we all know he's going to be right. So let's do it.
Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In War of the Visions, this Saturday, the 17th, they will do the first formal live stream of the year for War of the Visions JP, and they will announce the details of the Final Fantasy VII Remake collaboration.
I'm actually going to be going live streaming that. I'm not going to understand anything that is said, but the pictures are going to make me so happy because Final Fantasy VII is my favorite, so I am going to fanboy so hard for this when it comes out.
I don't usually make predictions because I'm often wrong, and I don't enjoy making predictions like many other people do. But I think there's a lot of people interested in the remake collaboration, both in global and JP versions. And then they also announced it quite ahead of time. With most of their other collaborations, it's just like, boom, here it is, coming out tomorrow. Here's all the details.
Yeah, this one, they've held off the info a lot. Like, I have a little alt JP account that I just use to check the news and see what's going on. And they announced this, I think, 2 weeks ago, and we don't know anything besides Cloud and Tifa and a couple of screenshots that might hint at like Barrett and Neris, and that's it.
But this was like a couple weeks ahead of time, so we do have the opportunity to predict, so might as well take the chance here. And while I'm not good at making predictions, what I am good at is shooting down the predictions of other people. I guess another way you could think of it is
Uh-oh,
I'm not
he
good
might
at
be gunning
predicting
for
what
me after this
developers will
video.
do, but I'm good at predicting what developers will not do. So I thought for the latter half of this video, I would list off what other folks have predicted or demanded for War of the Visions in general, and think about how low of a chance they have of that happening.
Oh, okay. So it's not just Final Fantasy
Okay, but
VII.
first, let's talk about Cloud here. The biggest question on people's minds coming into the live stream
So what
is going
element
to
he
be
is?
his cost.
Oh.
The way that I see it, the possibilities here are like this.
120. What is that? Is that like a new super unit? Does JP have that? Because cost 100 is usually the double cost, or what we call like a premium unit, like Super Stern and like Helena and stuff like that. But cost 90 seems like bang on.
Cloud at cost 80, I think has a 5% chance of happening. Cost 90, 70%. Cost 100, 24%. And cost 120 or higher is 1%.
Or
First
higher.
of all, I don't anticipate him being cost 120 and introducing a new tier. That would be the developers killing their own game as far as I'm concerned. I might even quit at that. I would be a little surprised.
I can't see them ever doing cost 120.
Cloud is beloved, and fans wouldn't feel it's fair to make the character just cost 80.
Even if he was cost 100, I would go for him. I will go for him, period. He could be cost 2,000, I'll go for him.
Cost 100 would make him the first limited time double price unit in JP, and I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. 24% chance of happening is not nothing. People would grumble, but they would end up paying for it. I don't think they would call for boycotts like they did Dwayne. If they did go for cost 100, it'll be interesting to see how much help the developers give in building him. But I put my money on cost 90. I think fans would be satisfied that he would be stronger than a cost 80 unit, and then also folks would be happy about the regular price shards. I think the memory of Mont, Helena, and Dwayne is still fresh in JP players' minds.
Oh yeah, they got mad
Next is
about that.
Tifa's cost. This is my breakdown
It's
here.
probably like an
I'm almost
80.
certain that they will make her
Yeah.
cost 80. There's not too much to say here. And I really wonder if they'll ever release another cost 70 unit.
Yeah,
Next, we can
Halloween
talk about
Leela was
Cloud's and
kind of a
Tifa's
mistake.
elements. A lot of people in both JP and Global care very deeply about this, but I don't. More than what feels accurate to the character, I'm more interested in the game balance, and that seems to be what the developers are focusing on, so that's good. I'm here for the gameplay, ultimately. But if Cloud were Wind, I would take it as a super obscure reference to Final Fantasy Tactics, so that would tickle me.
I totally forgot about that. I still think Cloud's going to be a lightning unit, just because you look at what lightning has, and they're very far and few between. The only caveat to that is Charlotte just came out like a week ago for them, so it'd be kind of weird to have like a lightning unit, and then they have the ice and the dark unit, and then like another lightning unit right after that. So this might be possible.
And
This is
then
17 minutes?
the next two units in the
These
second
videos are
half
only
of
usually
this
like 10
collaboration.
minutes.
This might be surprising. For some reason, a lot of people are sure that there's only a third unit, but clearly those people can't read Japanese.
Yeah, I can't. I think what they'll do is something very similar to what they're doing for 10 right now, is you have Tifa is what Titus is. That's the free unit, so everyone has that Final Fantasy VII character, so they have like a bonus unit or something like that for an event so that everyone can participate. And then Cloud is that one that you want to go for to be that much better. And then, the next week, then they probably do Eris after that, and then maybe have, since it's based on remake, probably have like Barrett as like maybe a quest MR that you can get.
There are actually at least two more units this collaboration. The in-game announcement used the plural units, so that could mean 2 more, 3 more, we'll see. But in addition to Cloud and Tifa, here is who I see coming next. Aerith has a 85% chance.
So we agree
Barrett,
on that.
60, Yuffie 30, Sephiroth 20.
Sephiroth will be his own banner. Sephiroth will make them money. Simple as that. So they won't throw him with the rest. They do like what they did with Tactics. He split them up for a bit, 2 different banners and different waves, and there you go.
Red 13 4 and Kate Sith 1.
I actually think Red 13 would be higher on the tier than Yuffie, though.
For the promotional artwork to advertise this collaboration, they featured Cloud, Tifa, Aerith, and Barrett. I think Aerith is nearly a lock, but Barrett is not as popular, so I don't know about him. And I really wonder if Barrett were a Hatcher unit, how many people would pull specifically for him. So if he were like an MR unit or like a mission reward unit, that wouldn't surprise me very much. Yuffie is a possibility because she has her side quest thing coming.
Yeah, with Integrate.
Sephiroth, I'm a little bit more iffy about, because in mobile games they often split the releases of Cloud and Sephiroth, because either one is a major draw. They can single-handedly put the company in the black for that month. But if the developers wanted to put the company into the super black this month, they could release both this time around.
Don't do that. Give me a chance to
and also War the
restock my Vizier.
Releasing playable villains, so yeah, that's another strike against him.
That is weird, actually. I was talking about that.
Sith are long shots, but they have better chance than like Sid or Vincent. It'd be pretty hilarious if they released just Kate Sith. It would technically be characters plural, but still prove me wrong because it would only be 1 unit. And then one bonus prediction, Avalanche members. The Avalanche members would be so awesome. They were the best thing about the remake, in my opinion. They had great English voice performances, and then if you release them as like MR or lower rarity units, they would feel appropriate, like power level, and then also you could potentially release all 3, and I hope they do that.
That's true.
In the debate between Tifa and Aerith, the answer is Jessie.
Yeah. I don't see them doing
Actually,
that, but that's a really cool idea.
Members, instead of like Aerith or Barrett, I don't think people would be too upset. Just a gut feeling on my part, but I think it would be welcomed as a fun, potentially free surprise and make people look forward to the second collaboration even more. And then Tifa here is a handout unit. I predict she's going to be the only handout unit of the entire collaboration.
Yeah.
Taking her to 120 within the collaboration time will be intense enough. 2 handout units would be very demanding. But they might do a mission or reward unit where you can get all their shards for free. But you have to complete like a bingo board like Shituma, or do a limited time event series of quests. Like complete all missions, get all shards and mind spheres, like a selection quest, but without party limitations.
I'm feeling that right now with Final Fantasy X. I have all 3 of the units, and I actually rank top 100 in total score, and my Auron is still not maxed. It's been a massive grind, so he's absolutely right on that.
And it would be cool to have like 3 series of like quests and missions, one for each of the Avalanche members. I would work super hard on that. Okay, for the latter part of the video, we'll talk about just like general predictions or demands that random players have made, and I'll give my thoughts on how likely those are to happen.
Okay, lay it on us.
First, the global schedule catches up to the JP schedule.
No. No. That won't happen. And why do you want that to happen? Like, it makes the global player base more knowledgeable because we know what's coming, so we know what to save for, what else to build, what vision cards to build up. Like, we're at an advantage. Why would you give that away?
1% chance of happening. This is not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
And really, why? Why catch up at all? For the enormous amount of work it would take to catch up, and for all the people the developers would piss off for skipping certain stuff, which they would almost certainly have to do.
I never thought about that.
And like, what would they even get, the developers, by catching up? They would give warm fuzzies to the global players feeling insecure about being quote-unquote behind JP. But what does that translate to? Does that translate to more sales, or better reviews, or more playtime? Probably not. The only way JP and global versions of mobile games can be really synced is if they are launched together on the same server, and it's essentially the same game, but with like different language options. The cow is already out of the barn in the case of War of the Visions here. And I feel a bunch of global players would prefer to be behind so that they could plan ahead. Global players love planning ahead, love counting their vision ore and hoarding. Global players need to get over being behind JP schedule-wise.
No, it's an absolute advantage.
Behind, and it doesn't make you inferior as players. Instead, you should feel superior because of all the special treatment you're getting compared to the JP version.
Yeah, 100%.
Next is the Gambit system. I'll give this a 15% chance of happening.
Gambit system?
I like this idea, and it would fit the game, but I don't see it happening for 2 reasons.
Like Final Fantasy 12?
One, it would be a gigantic programming task for basically no return. A Gambit system would not sell the game. And 2, it's kind of not needed. The game is plenty deep as it is. The JP players seem happy enough with abilities on-off, so I don't see Gambits happening.
That basically kind of is a Gambit.
Which is,
you just can't control the actions.
This has a 0% chance of happening. If Gambits did happen, there's no chance that they would be sold for money. I don't want to completely dismiss any idea, but Gambits costing money is so dumb, I'll make an exception here. I have no idea how this gained traction, but for some reason, whenever Gambits come up, someone suggests this. I think what happened is that some moron equated the idea of the 2x speed thing being behind a paywall, and a bunch of people picked it up without really thinking about it. It's dumb because these are 2 different things. 2x speed is a quality of life improvement that ultimately doesn't affect very much in the game, while Gambits are a game mechanic, potentially a very powerful one. As it stands now, everyone deals with the same AI, and that levels the playing field in auto-battle PvP. But you add a way for paying players to get better AI, and boom, pay-to-play players have an enormous advantage in auto-battle PvP. That would not be fair at all. It would be like giving units pulled with paid vision or extra skills or stats. No way.
I love his takes too because like I think about just the game, but he thinks outside of that. He's thinking about like developers and company and all the other factors that go into making the game, whereas I usually just focus on like what's going on inside the game.
Next, random player prediction. The ability to change the element of units. 1% chance. This won't happen because it would destroy the game. I mean, you have this fun, varied, balanced, constantly churning metagame, and then you just want to throw it all away by changing the elements of units.
You would never have to pull
It's
for a
always so
unit
amazing
ever
to me
again.
that folks with zero knowledge of game design just casually throw out insane ideas, and they have no idea how insane these ideas are.
Like that is changing the element. No, I can see them in the future doing like a neutral element or a duo element unit, which even then is you're walking a fine line, but that is something I can see once the game is further down the line and they kind of need to put a new spice into it to like refresh it, to change it up, something they might do. But changing the elements, you do that and you could just make whatever units you have that have a role, you could make them into a mono element team of your choosing, and you would never have to pull a unit again and the company wouldn't make money. So that's really dumb.
Okay, next prediction, Auto Farm multiplayer. I'm going to give this one a
Ooh.
0% as well. If the developers enabled this, why would anyone do anything else?
And there's so much
There are often
crashing in multi
positives and
too.
negatives to all game modes, and this would take away the main negative of multiplayer. Multiplayer is supposed to be good for new players with weak accounts and for free-to-play users without a lot of refresh potions. And solo is supposed to be good because it's less hassle, and you also get like affinity and stuff on the side. Also, I'm not a programmer, but I imagine it can't be easy to arrange for 4 different accounts to constantly be like, farming with each other, like for an hour or longer. I don't know. Okay, next. Chrono Trigger collaboration, 1% chance. Until someone dies,
Yeah,
this
they
is not going
haven't
to happen.
touched
Every
Chrono
mobile
Trigger
game ever
in
has
years.
tried and failed to get a Chrono Trigger collaboration, and I don't see how War of the Visions is any different. Next, limit breaks for units that are missing it. I'll give this one a 10% chance. This is a cost-cutting issue. Limit breaks take time and money to make, and for free units, I guess the cost is not justifiable from the company's point of view.
See, again, I never thought of
Do
the
you know
company
how much it
perspective.
takes to create a 1-minute CG promo movie? It's like over $1 million.
Really?
I enjoy the animations,
Wow.
but gameplay-wise, I don't miss the limit breaks, so I don't think they have a very good chance of coming to the game.
I have animations off anyway.
Next is a PC client. I'll give this a
No.
50% chance. I
Really?
like the idea, and I think they should do it, and I feel like it will happen someday, but maybe not anytime soon, not within 2 years.
Oh, okay, not within 2 years. Like, I would love a PC client because I play emulator. I use BlueStacks on my computer to play. But having its own PC client, it's just I don't see them doing it because this again, this is more programming, more staff, and you got to manage it, and I don't see them doing it. But a few years, like he said, that there's a chance that could happen. I don't see it happening. They market it as a mobile game, and I think that's how they're going to keep it.
I feel. Next, hard quests for limited units. I'll give this a 5% chance of happening. I doubt this will ever happen. They
We already get
offered a big compromise
so
in
many
enabling the
handouts.
barracks to give shards.
Yeah.
And we should be grateful for that.
And the bingo
Also,
boards
they will implement
and the
items
missions.
to speed up barrack progress, so that makes me think it's even less likely hard quests are coming, but maybe in like 3 years or something. Next, a ceiling for all new Hatcher units. I'll be generous and give this a 20% chance. This
What does
comes
he mean
and
by
goes,
this?
it's not on every banner, but for the ceiling to be a guarantee
Oh.
on all banners from now until forever, it's probably not going to happen. And it's actually up to the players. As long as folks keep pulling beyond 200 pulls, Gumi and Square will just let it keep happening.
Yeah, because the only time you see them doing that right now is vision cards. Like we just had two drop yesterday, the exact same thing. But vision cards aren't really what you want when you're playing the game because you're not playing with the cards. They're just enhancing your stats and your abilities. It's the units. Those are what you're looking at. Those are what you're trying to get. That's what you want on your account. Set as your home screen unit to show off, sometimes with little titles of the devotee or stuff like that. So because of that, like if they just gave everyone the handouts, it'd be so easy for everyone to have every unit. So no one is unique for having any of these units.
If everybody pulled like me and set limits on themselves, then ceilings would become much more common. Next, raid revamp. I'll give this a 5% chance of happening. I've heard lots of ideas of like making levels 1 through 100 skippable or something, but I think they've already made so many compromises in other areas regarding raids that 1 to 100 is going to stay the same, I think.
Like this Diablos raid is easy.
Easier, even now in global, and very doable at level 100 without using orbs. Multiplayer is still clumsy, but again, different modes need to have different positives and negatives. And I've heard that the raid equipment should take less materials to craft, but that isn't going to happen because these are items designed to be crafted by the hardcore like 10% right away and the casual 90% over the course of months.
Yeah.
You're not really supposed to get these items right away. Next prediction, a new unit form that will obsolete everything that came before it. I will give this an 80% chance of happening.
So is this like when FFB did, what are they called? NV or something like that? So like they had like the rare units were 5-star, you could awaken them to 6. And then they made it so there was like 7-star, and then they added like this new form which was like a pseudo 8-star. So I guess this would be like that 7 to 8-star kind of form. So yeah, eventually, yeah, it probably will happen, and that's usually when I tail off of games like that.
This is very likely to happen. The question is when. If it happens after 4 or 5 years, fine, that's par for the course. If it happens in under 3 years, I will be upset. But I put it at 80% chance and not 100, because there is a chance unit awakenings will stop with EX jobs. They might do EX sub-jobs. They might do like unit level 140 or 160 or something. But it might stop there.
I don't even know if I want the level increase.
They did something beyond EX jobs, but that doesn't guarantee that it will happen in War of the Visions. And I believe it doesn't have to happen. There's plenty of potential for expansion breadth-wise with the different elements and jobs and attack types that I believe they could go on forever.
And plus, you look at all the collabs that they could still pump out. Like, they did Tactics, they did 1, they did 4, we just got 10, and then 7, so that's 5. But there's so many people, like, would love 6, 8, 9. Oh, sorry, I forgot about 14, but 15, 30, like, all of them. People love all of them. And you could have so many different banners from almost every single one that you could just keep going on this route for a long while. And as long as it's balanced, then it's good. Just don't make them like power creep each other. So a unit that you pulled, say you pulled Yuna, and 2 years down the line, like she is the equivalent of like trash. Like that would suck.
In Monster Strike, they did Transcendent forms, but that didn't obsolete everything before it. And then they did Transcendent Kai forms, but that also didn't obsolete everything before it.
Yeah.
And the reason they could do it was because units had elements and null gimmicks. And so even if a super strong unit came out, you could only go to certain places and do well against certain enemies. And that is why changing elements is such a horrible idea. I see the potential in War of the Visions for power creep to be handled well. They could do it with like making quests more and more specific with what sort of units you could take into quests. I hope it plays out that way.
Like, look at Ayaka. She's still the second best healer in the game. And she came out like day 1. I'm pretty sure she was a day 1 unit. And it took a year for her to be dethroned to number 2. Like, she is that damn good. Now, the DPS is a little bit different. You see, them kind of slide down the ranks, but yeah, they're doing a good job.
And last is adding voice for collaboration units. I'll give this 20%. This is another cost-saving thing.
Yeah,
it might happen
that
in the
one
future,
I understand.
But I wouldn't hold my breath for it. If they didn't have it from the start, it makes it hard to believe that it will ever come to the game.
Only way I can see them doing it is if they just took clips from the voice acted games. Like Final Fantasy VII Remake, you just took voice clips of the character that were already recorded for the game and you put them in, but that doesn't have the same feel. Now, you want the units to be part of the world of War of the Visions, not they're just pulled from here, plopped in, but they're still themselves in Midgar or whatever, right?
Alright, so those were some predictions. First, for Final Fantasy VII Remake, we'll get the details this Saturday. Latter part of the video for just general stuff I see around, most of which is not going to come true. Alright, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.
That was an awesome video, actually. Cabbage did a really good job on that. I really enjoyed that video. I think the only thing we really disagreed on was the PC client, because he put it at 50%, but he's thinking, years down the line, whereas I'm thinking like PC client this year. So other than that, I agree with everything he said, and I really enjoyed that video, and I cannot wait for the Final Fantasy VII news, like the actual reveal of the characters, and I can't wait for the banners to come out. So Cabbage, thank you very much. That was a great video. I am not trying to disrespect you at all by reacting to your videos. I love your videos. There's so much different knowledge that goes into them. You don't think about it as just a player. You have more, like I said, that you got the big brain when it comes to the game. So that was awesome. I loved it. So everyone, I hope you liked my video of someone else's video. So I'll make sure I link Cabbage's channel down below. And if you somehow don't know who he is, go check him out. He's got great stuff, and he does a lot of JP content. So by watching that stuff, you're going to be more informed for what you're going to be doing for your own account on global moving forward. So make sure you check that out. With that said, everyone, have a good day. Thank you.